very much. A special thank you to Roberta and Sally and everybody at Broadway Books for having me. Bone Worship is the story of an Iranian immigrant father and his American-born daughter, for whom he wants to arrange a marriage. It's a love story, it's a coming-of-age story, and most of all, it's a story about two people trying to connect across cultures and across the little chasms that often seem to open up between those we love the most. These blue letters have not been disposed of, as my father thought when he threw them into the trash with finality. They were taken carefully out by small hands that gathered and folded them, put them in an album for more than 30 years. My mother's hands. If my father knew they still existed, he would have no reason to be angry. He is the only one who can read them. There are some things my father receives from his relatives in Iran that he keeps. Household items, clothes, a Persian rug. For a while, when my brother and I were young, they sent clothing, little orange and red hats that rested on the crowns of our heads, shoes, slippers of the same mix of color, with no labels. Our heels were uncovered and hung off the end, the shoes a year too small. My father yelled at us because we would not wear these clothes. We felt different in them because they smelled like animals and were too bright and noticeable for school. We could not tell him these things, so we showed him our hanging heels and pointed at the coat they sent for him, the one he would not wear, made with the skins of mysterious animals, sewn with thick, uneven stitches, sheep's wool on the collar, still covered in plastic on the hanger. My father can't help it, the singing. He sings songs that no one understands. Though he thinks he's alone, the songs are not at all private. They are the last remnants of his Iran, the house he used to live in. I wish my father would invent a song about me. It would not even have to be about me, just about a girl like me, with my name. I realize that he's not an artist. He thinks all artists are poor and waste their time, and maybe his time too. I realize that he is not a writer. He does not read anything except medical journals because he says there's nothing worth reading, no event worthy of being written about. I know he's not an inventor either, but how hard is it to sing an invented song? A sort of crazy, eclectic group of writers. I'm a huge fan of a lot of the Montana writers, Rick Bass, Barry Lopez, who I used an epigraph from his book Crow and Weasel in the novel. I just adore Barry Lopez. I also like Amy Bender and Miranda July, a lot of these sort of kind of contemporary cutting-edge writers doing strange new things with fiction. As far as the Iranian-American writing community, I'm a huge fan of Dalia Sofer's Septembers of Shiraz, Persis Karim, and Zara Hushmand. You know, one thing that some people ask me, and of course it's the worst question to ever ask a writer, is who's your favorite writer? And I try to dodge that whenever possible, but if I have to answer, I always say Sherwood Anderson, because for me, Winesburg, Ohio is sort of a Bible that, you know, whenever I lack inspiration, I just go to that book, and you can take any sentence out of it, and it's like a, you know, like a little perfect gem that just explodes every time you look at it and gives you so much. As far as what I'm working on now, I'm actually writing something that's completely different from this. I'm working on a novel set in 1890s Montana about a wolf exterminator, a man who's paid by the government to kill wolves.